If your career has standards, your body should too. In this video, I'm going to lay out the 3 standards minimum that corporate men should keep up to themselves so they're, number 1, they perform at the best level that they can. Number 2, they're respected by their coworkers and their, obviously, partner. But number 3, so they respect themselves. Because fitness is not about, doing it for everybody else. You're trying to impress a girl, you're trying to impress your coworkers, you want to show off, whatever. At the end of the day, why you need health and fitness standards is for your own sake and your own peace of mind, to not only keep yourself accountable, to keep yourself at like a level that you respect yourself, but also because you want to, right? You want to feel a certain way, you want to perform a certain way, not for other people, but for yourself. Because when you start doing things for others, you're never going to stick with it. It's only when you make the decision to want to do it for yourself is only when you're going to stick with the results and, stay consistent and make them habits. So starting off with number 1, there should be a level of strength standard with any corporate man. You spend most of your day at a desk. You spend most of your day sitting. If our ancestors took a look at us, this would probably be the most beta shit any generation has experienced. Sitting and typing on a computer all day. I understand this is how society has moved, but this is why a certain level of strength standard has to come with the type of career that you've chosen. You can't just, corporate people are very important. They provide a lot of, forward momentum to, tech, to software, to AI, etc. But it's not an excuse to turn into freaking like Peter Griffin. Because if you just allow yourself, this is part of my job, and then just become some weak, fragile old man, how is that really going to make you feel internally? You want to externally represent yourself how you internally feel yourself. So most people, their representation of themselves externally is just a physical representation and a physical manifestation of how they hold their level of standards internally, right? So have a sense of strength, like at least a minimum standard where you don't go into the gym and you're struggling to curl 15 pounds, or like you can't even bench press your own body weight because you've neglected your health and overall strength for the past 20 years. Keep a level of strength standard so that, when it comes time to perform, you have that confidence, because with strength comes confidence. That's really the only, because we're not out here, fighting and hunting lions and elephants that we really need that strength. But the strength is more so for the confidence when you're meeting with your clients, when you're meeting with, people, when you're meeting with others face to face and having conversations. That internal strength just brings another level of confidence for you, because you've put like decades of working out into making yourself into a certain person who is strong, who is capable, and who is dangerous. Which brings me to my second point. And my second point is have a standard and have a minimum standard of body fat percentage that you do not go above, right? Sure, you could fluctuate from time to time depending on your season, depending on whether you're cutting, maybe you want to get a little bit leaner for the summer. You want to bulk up for the winter, or you want to allow yourself to let go for, not let go, but you know what I mean. You're going on vacation, you want to just kind of F off with the insanity a little bit. But you should still have a minimum baseline that you never cross, because that is just your standard and that's what you operate at. For me, for example, it's 15% body fat, because I know after 15% body fat, when I get above that level, number one, I feel just extremely lethargic. I feel heavier, I feel lazier, and my energy just plummets. But number two, I just start feeling like a little bit insecure. Like I feel a little bit more rounded. I have less like masculine shape to my frame, and it's just a level that I found to myself that I won't cross, because it just starts crossing the line of the standards that I hold for myself. Looks wise, feelings wise, confidence wise, energy wise, just like everything that comes to play when it comes to how you want your body to look, and for the reasons why you take care of your health, right? And it's important because when you set yourself like this minimum standard, right? Just like you do at work, okay, we're making, I don't know, quota is $50,000 in sales this week. Like that is just your standard, and that's what you operate at. So why can you have standards at work, for example, but then when it comes to your standards for your own health, your standards for your own body, you just kind of like F it off, whatever? It's because, I'll tell you why. It's because you're more afraid of disappointing somebody else, the company that you work for, the boss, or maybe you are the boss and you don't want to, you know, or you've put business so much above your own health. And then when it comes down to your own health, you kind of neglect it because it's just like, it's on a standard for me. But if you write down on a piece of paper, hey, this is my body standard, this is my goal, this is what I'm not surpassing, this is not what I'm allowing myself to go by, and you actually keep your word, you just start operating at a different level. And then number three, the most important one, the most important standard to have for yourself is a sense of energy standard. Meaning, you analyze, you reflect, and you understand how you feel, how you operate, and how you perform throughout the day, week, month. It might take a little bit of journaling, it might take a little bit of reflecting, it might take a little bit of understanding and, you know, seeing how you perform on certain days. But when you get this down, you understand, number one, what affects your energy. Number two, what needs to be limited and what needs to be added. And then number three, you just perform at such a high operation because you've done the work. You've figured out what crashes your energy. You've figured out why you don't want to live on a set of like below standards than this that you currently are at. And it's just a great place to be at because, for example, I know when I drink too much alcohol, for example, on like a weekend, my energy is crashed for the next 4 days and I'm taxed. That's why I limit myself, and that's why I actually have because I have an energy standard that I want to maintain and keep at, because I got so much shit I gotta get done, that I don't drink past a certain point because I know I'm going to be suffering the next couple days and my energy is going to take a toll. And I don't want it to because I want to perform at a certain level. And I know what kind of level I'm happy at performing at. So, therefore, obviously body fat percentage plays a huge role in this, because the lower your body fat, the more energy you're going to have. But if energy at all is a concern to you, you need to directly understand what affects your energy. You need to reflect, and you need to almost, not track, because it's like a little bit like, yeah, track, whatever. You need to mentally track. What you eat, how does it make you feel? What you drink, how does it make you feel? Even, I bring it down to social media. That's why I've stopped consuming too much like fitness content, because I know I just start comparing myself. Oh, this guy's huge, this guy's on steroids. Oh, I'm fat, I'm not good enough, etc. And I knew that was destroying my energy levels, so I stopped consuming it. So pay attention to not only what food and water and liquids, not water obviously, but like what liquids are affecting your energy, but then also what content is affecting your energy. Because energy is something that we always want to keep at the highest echelon of our possibility. Why? Because then we actually get to do the shit that we want to do, whether it be spend time with the kids, spend time with the wife, spend time and more effort and energy at work to get better results. Because at the end of the day, that all that energy does is just give us the results that we're looking for and that we're striving after. And there's really one more thing that affects your energy. And this one's a big one, and you really have to pay attention, because it's sometimes hard to notice, and then you're going to feel off, and you're like, why do I feel off? And it's the people that you spend time with. The people that are around you, the people that you're having conversations with, the people that you're inviting over to your house for dinner, the people that like you're listening to and you're talking back to, and they're talking to you. Pay attention how they make you feel, because people are huge time wasters. People are so miserable. They do not give a fuck about your goals. They do not give a fuck about how you feel. And more importantly, they are there most of the time to talk their misery onto somebody. Oh, my life is going like this, and then it's just like blabbering all this nonsense onto you, and then you're a sponge. You're absorbing all this crap that they're talking to you about, and then how do you think that's going to make you perform and you feel the next day? Or even during the time that you're trying to listen to this shit, but you're just like thinking in the back of your head, I wish I had the balls to tell this person to shut the fuck up, because I don't want to hear anything anymore that's coming out of their mouth. But all you have to do is just say, sorry, I don't want to listen to this type of nonsense. Or number two, just don't hang out with them. I think people have like this sense of obligation that they need to hang out with a certain person just because they've hung out with them before. Or they need to see this certain person because they're family friends or they're acquaintances or some other relative or like form of like, I don't know, family member, etc. Dude, if somebody drains your energy, like literally because they're so miserable, you have no obligation to hang out with that person. If anything, you have an obligation to yourself to tell yourself and be disciplined enough to say, listen, don't hang out with this fucking person because they make me feel like shit. They make me feel worse about myself. They make me feel like I'm less of a human being than I actually feel like. Or they just are constantly gossiping and talking about other people, and it's just so draining to me to listen to. So you owe it to yourself to have that kind of, what's the right word here? Awareness of how other people make you feel, but also self-control and a purpose to whether or not you care about how you feel. So just simply notice after you're done hanging out with a certain person, or even during your hangout with a certain person, or a meeting. Notice how when you're around that person, how do they make you feel? Do they make you feel better? Do they make you feel more energized? Do they make you feel happier? Do they make you feel like, you want to go conquer and fuck life up and just like be ultimate? Or do they make you feel like less than you actually are? And those are really the 4 ways to make sure that your energy standards are at an all-time high. Because especially for corporate professionals, especially for business owners, it is so important for you guys to maintain a certain level of energy, not only for yourself and like your performance, but the people that you're leading. They want to feel inspired by you. They want to feel like you're not just another random guy that's just showing up. They want to feel like there's life behind your leadership. They want to feel like I just remember, like, I've worked a couple jobs now, and I can tell behind like a good boss and a bad boss. And not only like, okay, they're assholes or they're not, but I'm talking about like who actually has life behind them when they show up and when they talk, versus who's just a miserable bastard. Because nobody wants to be around miserable bastards. And if you feel miserable about yourself, how do you think other people are going to feel about you? So what do you need to do? Change something. And the best place to start is with your fitness. Because your fitness is the foundation to everything. Well, actually your mind, because your mind is the thing that is going to direct your number one, fitness. And your number two is going to keep you consistent. Number three, it's going to keep you on track. And number four, it's actually going to like visualize the plan and the ideas that you have out for yourself when it comes to your fitness business, etc. And the perspectives that it's going to carry. But it's going to keep you accountable and consistent with your fitness goals. Don't take my word for it. Like, I'm just a guy on the internet, right? You don't know me. I don't know you. But what I do know is that if you at least tried it, just try dropping down to sub 14% body fat once in your life if you have never, and just experience the level of energy, the level of confidence, the level of like lightness and agility that you have. You're going to be going from like 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. with the same coast of energy without having to think like, oh, I need to take a nap. Because you're a grown-ass man taking a nap throughout the day or feeling like you need to take a nap, there's something seriously wrong with what you are inputting into your mind and body. There's a saying, a nap a day keeps the crazy away. Yeah, for little children, for babies. Babies need naps. Men perform on all 12 cylinders all day long because they have standards set for themselves that they don't fall behind. So once again, the 3 standards. You should have a strength standard for your confidence. You should have a body fat standard for your own. It's also part of confidence, but like for everything. Body fat just comes down to everything. Health. Let's just call it health, because most of health issues could be just resolved with lowering your body fat. Let's just call it as it is. So strength for your confidence, body fat percentage for your health, and energy for your performance, for your leadership, and for your, how society and how people, clients, patients see you. I love you guys. Share, like, and subscribe the video. I'm going to see you in the next one, and subscribe for more free, fitness content, mindset content if you want to perform and optimize your health at the highest level. I love you guys. See you in the next one. Create more than you consume. Serve others. Love everyone. Peace.